Hello, my name is Kit Jennis and I am the Disaster Response Coordinator here at IDES. Today we're going to shoot a little training video to show how the semi is loaded with the storage buildings. We want to show how each piece goes on. We want to show how they go on properly and safely, and then we hope this will be used as a way to show people how they can come off safely out in the field. So what we have set up is a little mock semi-trailer load here in the warehouse. We're going to set up basically what the trailer looks like minus an actual semi-trailer. So here in a few minutes we're going to start loading all those pieces on. All right, what we got set up here is the wall sections of the semi. So we've got two sections that are going to be identical to this, the side walls and the floors. And we find the center of the load, which is right here in this cavity, and then I usually count over another stud, and that's where I've got these lined up. So both of these straps are equally spaced, and I try to line them up with this stud. You can see where the nails are, that's where the stud is, and when I pick it up, that's going to push in on the studs and not in this open part here that would deform that cavity. So once both of the big stacks are put on there, there's three little stacks like this that go on top, which we're going to show you in just a moment. These are the fronts and the backs, and I just wanted to show you picking one of these up level. Having this level and balanced is important for two reasons. One is safety. If this is imbalanced and wants to slide or buckle on us as we're moving it, that can be very dangerous and can slip out of the slings. The other thing is when you have it nice and level like this, it's a lot easier to set it down on the top of the load here and not have it sliding around on us trying to balance itself out. So you want to take the time beforehand, before the truck is even there, the day before, whatever, and take the time to get these level so that when you pick it up, you know exactly where you need to pick it up, and it picks it up nice and level like this. All right, we just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's not balanced and what that can what difficulties that can cause. When you're up on the truck or when you're setting these on, having them imbalanced like this makes it hard to put them in place where they need to go, because there's not a lot of space to, they have to fit on there. So we just wanted to show what it looks like, and then some of the difficulties of trying to get this thing balanced and put on there, because it wants to slide around on us. You can see it's a little bit harder to get everything lined up, and the video we showed before, you can see how they all nice and neatly go down on there. So just take the time and get those strapped up safely and level. So what we have set up today basically is a mock semi-trailer. So this would be the last set of walls that are on the back half of the trailer, and what we're going to do is load the front half. So after this last stack is set, we can go ahead and place these 5. They're very specifically stud length 2x4s, whether they're 92 5/8 or 93s. They go down and they're spaced 2 foot on center. And you can either pull a tape, but on the rails system of the semi, there will be little blocks little boxes, and you can use those as kind of a gauge to space those out to show you 2 foot on center. And once those are down, we can start placing the material on top.
All right, what we got going on here is we're just loading all of the components on. The bundle on the left there is the dimensional bundle. It'll have an actual another component on top of that. That's why there's that much space between. But the bridges that they're putting on are sort of specific. There are 3 that are identical, and then the last 2 are the same. The last 2, the angle braces on the right are a little bit shorter to allow for that little bit taller stack. But what these guys are trying to do is get these fastened at the bottom. It does help to pre-drill those out so that the idea is that we don't want any of the wood to split. This is going to be traveling across the road and being jarred around. So as much as we can, pre-drill those types of things. And we're using 3-inch screws and that kind of thing. And they're just working along as we're still being able to move forward with the load. So the doors and stuff and the front half of this part can be moving right along as these guys or the volunteers are putting the bridges on. Want to try to make sure that we police up all of the screws. Unfortunately, we'll drop some, but we don't want the semi to have to drive over those. So just keep an eye on those. As we're getting to the 12-footer here, sometimes those bridges, the boards underneath may need to be moved left or right, so that there's not one that's way out and having to bow that board a lot. So you can take a 3 or 5 pound hammer and kind of persuade that either way. But the basic thing is that should be pretty straight line so that it fastens into the walls easily. You're not having to use those screws to pull like a 2-inch gap closed. So just try to make sure those are all lined up. And whether or not you can put these on as a stack like this will kind of depend on your equipment. If you've got a shooting boom forklift, it will pick those up. Obviously our crane will do this, but you can pick those up independent of themselves.
Now that we've got everything loaded on, we just want to cover some of the finer points of what these pieces are and why they are where they are. So these components that are here that you saw the guys putting on are what we call load bridges, and those are spaced evenly with those blocks that are on the floor. And the reason they are there is so they get us up to a nice level surface to lay our truss frames on for the load. So after all 5 of these are put on, we put this 12-foot piece on that ties all those together and then ties us into the stack. So we'll basically just try to make this level. We'll put 5 screws in on the stack here, and then at each of these sections there'll be 2 or 3 screws. Also on the bottom there'll be about 3 screws at the bottom here. So what we want to show on this side is the spacing. So the need is that this roof sheeting stack is right up against the wall stack here, and that's important that we don't get too big. On the back side of this, the very first stack is the dimensional bundle, and that needs to be about 5 inches in, and we'll show you a picture of that later. But if that is too far in or out, these stacks will not fit underneath and will press that out on us. Wanted to show just how all of these are clean up against each other. So the roof sheeting and the subfloor bundle are close together. This is our simulated hardware box. It's basically just a placeholder. The actual box is about as high as the door bundle behind it, and that was so that they can tie together easily. Our roofing pallet, and then this blue tape on the ground is the simulated front of the truck. So you can see if all of those things are not placed on there, keeping them tight, we can run out of space. There's usually tarps and some other stuff that he has on the front that make that crucial that we keep all that tight.